Go ahead.
I think too, and sometimes I throw this in with compassion. Like sometimes being compassionate towards another person is having the courage to say something that might not sit well with them, and you know, because I mean, you both of you have had to address things with me that were hard. You know, we've had hard conversations. You know, but you were compassionate enough to tell me and then help me through it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I think that's also part of compassion is being brave enough to tell people what they need to hear when they don't want to hear it. You know, and then we're helping them work through it. You know, and not just saying, you know, you did this, you fucked up. You know, no, like, hey, you did this. I understand why. This is why I think you did it. Blah blah blah. Talk it out. Now, how are we gonna make sure, you know, why fix it? You know, like, how do you fix it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's part of compassion's not, to me it's more of a to help assist people. You know, I'm assisting people instead of just, oh, that's too bad. Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Right.
I'm so sorry. Well, I gotta go. You know,
Yeah.
like
Where's your mom? Where's your dad?
it's sticking it out and making sure that person and helping. You know, and it's, you know, because that's all service is really is you know, giving a hand up. You know,
Yeah.
extending a hand to someone in need. You know.
Well, I just want to say, like, one thing that I was thinking of as you were talking is, like, when we talk about compassion, does it feel like there's a way to deliver a message in a compassionate way? Like,
Sure.
like some harsh realities.
Tactful way?
In a compassionate, tactful way.
Yeah.
Without hurting somebody's feelings. And then, if so, then is the opposite of compassion, is it insensitivity? And the reason that I think this is because of you and your coach,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So let's just talk a minute. Like, Willy,
Sure.
you're doing this fitness program. You've got a fitness coach. His name is Wes Watson.
Right. Watson Fit.
Watson
Yeah, on
Fit.
Instagram. Yeah.
And he is a hardcore individual.
Very.
To say the least, right?
Very.
So I thought that this was an interesting choice for you to pick for a topic, because it would seem as though in this lifestyle that he has, or in his teaching method at least, that he has little to no compassion whatsoever.
It might seem that way at the surface.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so, like, I kind of want to tear into that a little bit and say,
Sure.
can you have compassion and still deliver a very blunt, direct, and sometimes even harsh message?
Sure. Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think it can go all those directions, right? Like, I think you can deliver a bullshit message and not have any compassion behind it, because I think compassion, in its essence, is a sincere desire to help someone else become better or have a better quality of life, you know, or animal or whatever. You know, I don't know that you can really have a compassion towards like a rock or a dead log, but I think anything living. But, you know, one of the things that Wes does for me is comes from a place of absolute love with major intensity, right? Because he came from a place of extremes, extremely violent, extremely manipulative, you know, the California state prison system. And what he ended up doing was finding compassion for himself and then wanted to radiate that out through the world. And what he found was a closed off society of people that were deeply asleep, right? That he saw that within himself he could change those negative behaviors through really blunt messages about his reality of what he needed to do to build himself up to a point where he could have the lifestyle inside the jail that radiated freedom from, you know, that negative self-talk, that negative opinion about yourself. And so through that, he found that there's an entire society of people that can resonate with that blunt force message. And so At the surface, yeah, if I go into a treatment center and I just start yelling at everybody, talking about how big of a pussy I was, it probably isn't going to go over well. But if I can find a way to give that same message through a little more tactful way that's more appropriate for that setting, then absolutely, right? But I think the underlying thing is that what the big part of that is trying to get the ego out of the way enough to actually see what other people are capable of, right? Like the panhandler, you know, if there's any one panhandler that was able to get off the street and make a life for himself that he finds is a better way. See, the hard thing about compassion and the hard thing about sending a message of growth is that in the Buddhist, Zen Buddhist, Taoist type way, there's a story about how all do-gooders are troublemakers, right? Like we are all, everybody that wants everybody to do a little better is kind of a troublemaker on the essence of kindly let me help you or else you'll drown, says the monkey as he safely puts the fish up the tree. And that's my opinion, that you need to live like me, right? Like the best way that you could live is if you live like me. Trust me. Just trust me.
Right.
I got the answer for your life. And that's not always necessarily the case.